on top of the world, about to jump above it. Take it straight to the moon, 'cause we know how to rock it. Ain't no thing you can do, ain't no way to stop it. Now you're feeling it too, let's get it started. Throw your hands in the air while the beat is dropping. Acting like you don't care when everybody's watching. Just keep whipping your hair like that, you got it. Yeah, you're feeling it too, let's get it started. I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Charts off the meter, turn it up, blow the speakers, make them all to believers. Break through the surface, tell them open the curtains, give them all what they wanted. Yeah, now let's get started. I'm ready. Let's get it, get it. Yeah, I'm ready, ready. I'm ready. Are you ready, ready? I'm ready. Let's get it started. Yeah, yeah, I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Let's go. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it, get it. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it. Yeah, 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 yeah. Give me something new. Time to break loose. Take it to another level. Now we on the move. Shout if you coming with me. Going over the limit. On your mark, keep it steady. So tell me, are you ready? I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the Drivers Go Mile and a Half Racing at the Great American Speedway at Texas Motorsports for NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series. As this is season 4, race number 9 here tonight. After a wild short track racing action at Lucas Oil last week, where we got to see Joey Doucette find himself getting a win here at Texas, we'll see if anyone's going to get retaliation, who's going to potentially get their first win, as we've seen a lot of first-time winners this season who might get their second win on top of that. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me is going to be that of Kevin England, as well as that of Charles Wu, going to be in the production booth here tonight for LSRTV Studios. Kevin, Mile and a Half Racing at Texas. We've seen Mile and a Half races here at NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series a couple of times this season. This track's a little different from what the other tracks have been like.
Yeah, from a short track to Big Mo here, you got to look at everybody running pretty much wide open at this racetrack. It's a rhythm track, and I expect Big Mo to keep going for Joey Doucette after winning at our IRP 4 top 10s in the last 5 races. Let's see how he does at this big mile and a half.
What's crazy about last week's race, Joey Doucette only led 1 lap, and it was the lap that mattered after drivers taking each other out, where we thought we were going to be seeing, especially that of Keith Haney, who's the dominating driver, was not able to win after being wiped out by Blake Lothan. Now the question is, will there be any retaliation here tonight, or will it be clean racing? As we take a look at our race 411 of tonight's evening, drivers are getting set up for the racing action, currently under practice. We got 3 minutes left here tonight. Then after that, we got 2 laps of lone qualifying, where the drivers are going to be on track by themselves, seeing who's going to get that Blanchard Towing Pull Award. And then 135 laps, 3 stages here tonight. We're going to be racing to lap 30, then 65, and then we're going to be racing it to the end as these drivers are getting prepared to go. Kevin, it's going to be an interesting night overall. I mean, for these drivers, as you noted on it, it's going to be mainly full throttle, and primarily these drivers are going to be setting up for that first corner, as that is going to be the best place to make a lot of passes. But I've been watching practice. The loose sensation, though, out of turn 2 seems to be the biggest danger zone of all the drivers practicing here.
Yeah, we have a mandarin orange sky as twilight turns to night here. It's a cool setting, 65 degrees, partly cloudy. Track temps are 68 and going to go down. More and more grip in the racetrack. And this is the type of racetrack where you really just run it in the corner, wide open. Maybe you breathe the throttle. You look a little high, you look a little low, whatever the grip gives you. And ideally, you're trying to chase the truck in front of you or be out front in clean air. We're just going to have to watch the way the dynamic is, but I think track position is going to be a huge deal here tonight, Sam.
Yeah, under practice still, and since we're talking about weather, let's take a look at our weather, sponsored by ML Performance. Your weather conditions, you noted on it, 65 is the ambient air temperature. Not really a breeze at all, just 2 miles per hour, but partly cloudy. With the sun setting, the track's just going to start to cool off. 68 degrees is that track temp. And Kevin, this is a very unusual track temp. Very cold. Usually we see anywhere from 80, 90, even into the hundreds for the track temp. But down at 68, that is going to be a different factor for the majority of this field to be reacting with.
Yeah, deep in the south of Texas, you would expect it to be a hot summer night, but here it's going to be cool shade and going into darkness. And, you know, we'll have to see if that makes a difference in how these trucks drive. I would think cooler would make more power. Cooler will give better grip, which means faster speeds into the corners. They're going to be running right on the ragged edge. And, you know, I was thinking about your comments about who's hot. I'll raise your Monty and say, how about Thomas? I just can't believe he has 3 runner-up finishes this season. He's finished in the top 10 all but one race. I think Stephen Thomas is going to be the driver to watch here tonight. At this type of racetrack, he's due for a win any moment now.
You look at some of his quote-unquote bad finishes. I mean, yes, the Dover finish is worst of that, finishing in 35th spot. But then you got Kentucky and as well at that of Las Vegas, finishing 9th and 8th. Those are kind of his lows, still in the top 10 for those races, but his best mile and a half finish was going to be at that Atlanta. 3rd place for that of Stephen Thomas, who's going to be going for his best, you know, trying to go for his first win this season, which here tonight could be a great option for himself. But there's also a couple of other drivers that are looking a little bit sneaky quick in my eyes. Also going to be having to think about Chris Cinnamon, and also, you know, some other drivers have already won this season. Keith Bradley going to be on my window of watching out. He's been fast at the mile and a half tracks, but has had some misfortunes as practice is concluding. The sun continues to set, and as well, the timer is ticking. It's time to take a look here at what the driver's going to be doing for qualifying. They got 10 minutes to put down their fastest lap, and only 2 laps are going to be eligible for them to be putting down their fast lap. As you see, that of Christopher Blanchard going to be hitting the course for the 19, as the drivers all going forward that Blanchard Towing Pull Award. And Kevin, here at Texas, what are the keys for these drivers to have the best qualifying position for themselves?
Yeah, key is get up to speed on that initial lap right here. Try to get the truck warmed up. Get down in the corner properly. Don't miss the corner. You want to hit right below that white line or right to that white line. Let the truck roll through. Don't put a lot of steering wheel in it so you don't scrub off the speed. And just really the key thing of getting around this racetrack is you got to be smooth.
Smooth is going to be the key. As for that of Blanchard, going to be starting his time right in the middle lane through 1 and 2, trying to find any spacing as possible. Saw a little bit of a wiggle on the exit of turn 2, which is expected to be seen all night, especially on these cold tires. Drivers going to hope that they don't get themselves too squirrely, as still riding high is that of Christopher Blanchard. So not trying to go for a blazing lap on this first go. We've seen this at other mile and a half tracks of drivers that have put down pole positions. It's go slow on that first lap and then just gun it, get down low. And that's what we're seeing from the 19-year Kevin.
Yeah, a little loose up out of corner number 2. The truck steps out some. He's still hard on the throttle, never lifted, rolls down the backstretch. He's going to turn it down into turn number 3. Won't go down to the white line, running just a smidge off. Good run up off. He's got to be careful not to slide up into the fence here. He'll come down to the grass and roll it right across the start-finish line. And it'll be a 30.274. That's going to put him at the top of the board right now.
Top of the board for the moment, but another driver watch out for going to be second is going to be Ted Wade, who's looking very quick as we move up to the 2. who has found himself to get many pole positions this season and trying to go for another one here tonight. Ted Wade has been so consistent when it comes to at least the starts of the races. He's got 3 pole positions this season, like I noted on, and those pole positions, Kentucky, Dover, and Watkins Glen. We'll see if he can add another pole spot as he takes the top of the board after his second lap.
Yeah, 30.036 is the official time for Ted Wade, and I'll tell you, he really nailed 3 and 4. You can see that truck just carved the bottom, and he really had a good lap. We're watching Eric Zimmerman right now rolling around in the number 94. Up high, I think this is his throwaway lap.
Zimmerman going to be trying to figure out how to get heat into those tires. First lap's going to be coming across the line very slow. That first lap going to be a 46.9, but because of getting the wall or even through the grass, the 94 not going to be having anything count. Gets loose up against the wall, hits it, and once again invalidated lap. Eric Zimmerman most likely going to have to start at the end of the line or near the back of the field for those that decide not to qualify, as if you get any type of contact into the wall, touch the grass, that lap is invalidated. It will not count, as Zimmerman's still going to be at least trying to get some practice laps to get that experience. I think this is a good call for the 94 just to keep running these laps and at least get that track to sense. And even though it's loose and chaotic, it looks like Zimmerman's just going to throw it away once more into turn 1.
Yeah, truck stepped out. There's a bump over there at 1 and 2. You got to be careful. You don't really want to be hard on the throttle through it. You need to let the truck roll into it. You could just see the 87 kind of bump through that as Lumpkin went through, as he rolls in to get a qualifying lap.
You want to give a note to Eric Zimmerman. Went back, looked at some of his starts here at the mile-and-a-half races. His average has been around that of 20th to 22nd. So it was not a strong qualifying run here tonight for Zimmerman, but kind of sticking to the trends that he's been doing. Going to hope that he can best the trends, though, as his best finish was at Atlanta with an 18th place finish. As here comes the 87 machine of Justin Lumpkin, trying to best his first lap and across the line, looking good to at least be in the middle of the field, as for that of Justin Lumpkin, 7th on the board after that lap.
Lumpkin rolls around the bottom there, drifted up just a little bit, then pulled it back down. He gets right to that seam. There's a seam about 1.5 lengths up. He's running low down the backstretch, going to enter into turn number 3, right down on the bottom. Can he hold the truck? A little bit of a wiggle. Has to breathe the throttle a little. You see the flame come out, and well, he's going to abort this, and I'm going to pick him up rolling around here and going to pit road. So, yeah, okay. Let's just see where this lands. Ted Wade still out front as we pick up Brian Abbott, who's had some really strong runs of late, Sam.
Yeah, Brian Abbott has been strong and at least being in the top 10 for these early portions of these races. Again, trying to get a good average and clutch factor at the end, which seems to be a struggle for a lot of these teams. We've seen, a couple of drivers really be able to stay up front and have good averages like that of Stephen Thomas, Ted Wade. Great averages of the top 10s, but everyone else kind of just drops off from there. I mean, half of the field has been able to finish, in the top 10 at times, and then the other half of the season so far have been outside of the top 10. So the consistency has been very hard to find in this early portion of the season, as we are finding ourselves on race 9 of the regular season for these drivers. We're past halfway, so the drivers are needing to find that type of a consistent run, as Justin Pitts is now going to be going for a roll, as Abbott's going to be 12th on the board after being done with his 2 laps and coming into pit road. And as we're looking at Justin Pitts taking off, Chris Cinnamon has put down the fastest lap. It is a complete solid 30-second lap time. That is impressive to be seen by the 3.
Yeah, how about that? Chris Cinnamon was fast in practice, backed it up with a flat 30. I don't know that anybody knew who was going to run that time here as we watched Justin Pitts roll through on his first lap, sweeps up in turn number 1. Here he comes down. He's going to run 1 lane up and really loose out of turn number 2.
Cold tires not being kind. That of Justin Pitts, who's hoping he can find just a little bit more grip, that sliding action. going to be a lot more cleaned up through 3 and 4. The more full throttle, maybe a little bit of a blip there. And across the line, roaring into turn number 1 and 2, where drivers are going to have to focus on how to let off, find that speed, but also don't just completely offload the rear end. You want to make sure that rear end doesn't take off, which means you got to keep a little bit of a throttle action in there, and that is a clean turns 1 and 2 into turns 3 and 4. This is looking good, Kevin. Is that 27 staying low, clean, and like you said, need to be steady. And that is exactly what Pitts is doing at turn number 4 across the line. It's looking good, and that is a screamer of a lap. We'll wait for the official time. It's going to be a 30.226, best for 12th on the board.
Yeah, when he drove it into turn 1, he really turned it down hard. That made the truck skate up out of turn number 2, and that's where he lost just a little bit, but a solid lap puts him in 12th right now. As I just like take a peek, is there anybody left here to go out? Yeah, we have 3 or 4 drivers. We'll see whether or not with the seconds that we have left, anybody else is going to go out and put a time. We're looking at more Osborne, Zimmerman, Hedden, Bullock, and Wigington not putting times out yet. And, well, I think at this point they're not going to have enough time to score it in. So Cinnamon, big smile on his face. Chris Cinnamon with a 30 flat, qualifying to a 30.036 for Ted Wade. A 38 hundredths for Jose Luis Rivera. That's a pretty good lap for that 97 in third.
Yeah, I mean, our whole entire that of top 5, all within 1/10 of one another. So they are keeping the speed very close, and especially with the draft, I think we're expecting it to stay close as well, as we've got ourselves coming up to less than 40 seconds to go. For this, Chris Cinnamon, there is no one else that's going to be trying to even test for a time. So the 3 is going to be getting your Blanchard Towing Pull Award, and that will be his second pull award this season. His other one at Las Vegas, as that he started in first, finished in 6th place. So Chris Cinnamon's going to be hoping to go for a win potentially here tonight, trying to go for his best finish, which has only been a top 10 in 6th place. So he's trying to get his first top 5. I think tonight could be his best opportunity to go for a win, Kevin, is the 3 of Chris Cinnamon.
Yeah, Chris has shown speed and has also run up front for much of the season. Quite a few races. He just needs to put the whole program together here, and maybe, again, tonight's a night. When they went out and run this qualifying run, track is cold, tires are cold. They really do need to run a handful of laps before the tires come up to temp. The pressures come up and these trucks hook up to the racetrack, and this is going to be a lot of fun to see these guys in these opening laps and what kind of race trucks they have underneath them.
Well, it's time to see where the driver is going to be starting up as the grid's lining up on the course. It's time to see where they are as the butt kicker 200 at Texas. We're ready for racing action. Getting your Blanchard Towing Pull Award. It's going to be the 3 of Chris Cinnamon, with the 2 of Ted Wade taking the 2nd place spot on the outside of row number 1. Row 2 is going to be that of Jose Luis Rivera in that of the 97. And as well, Hunter Parsons in 05 going to be on the outside. Haven't seen Hunter Parsons in a while. See what speed he's got. Mr. Consistent, Stephen Thomas, got some of the best averages here tonight, with that of Stephen Gregory in the 61 on the outside for row 3. Row 4, going to be finding ourselves with that. I believe we're going to be seeing Big Beach moved over, as that's going to be finding ourselves with Raul Meza, and as well as Blake, that of Lothian, going to be in the 59. But finishing out our top 10, it's going to be row number 5 with our winner from last week, Joey Doucette, and Evan Painter in the 64.
Row 6 made up of Justin Lumpkin in the 87 to his outside Logan Quinn in the number 44. Row 7, we just saw him, Justin Pitts in the 27 to his outside Taylor Peacock, who's had a bunch of strong runs as of late in the number 81. Starting inside row 8, Ryan Abbott in the 82. Christopher Blanchard in the 19 starts 16th tonight. Row 9, Jeffrey Sickles in the number 22, and he's got Dana Shepard in the number 43 to the outside, 18th starting spot. And it is Robert Richards. He's won here before at Texas in the 48 to the outside, 20th starting spot for Keith Haney.
Then in 21st position in row number 11, we find that of Adam Cantwell, as well as the 33 of Matt Rudder. And finishing out in our row number 12, it's going to be that of James Morris in the 47, and also Cody Knott in the 26, our Mr. Pulse Poppers. We'll see how well he can do here tonight. He's got some misfortunes. We'll see if he can change it up. As that of Dane Hagen now going to be in the 39, starting out for row number 13, but Jacob Klinghardt in the 5, finishing out this row. Then we find ourselves in row number 14 with that of Zach Hartwick, as well as that of Zach Adams, the double Zachs. Going to be in row 14. We'll see what luck they can find with last season's champion, that of Brady LaBeouf, going to be in the 9. Starting out row 15 with Brandon Bullock, as well as that of Ed Osborne, Curtis Hennon, as well as going to be that of Hug Wigginton, that of Eric Zimmerman. And finishing out row number 18, it's TJ Morris in the 99. Kevin, we've got ourselves 135 laps, but before we get to the very end of this race, we have stage racing, and that's going to be on lap number 30 when stage 1 comes to a conclusion. What are you expecting for these first 30 laps for these drivers here for the Butt Kicker 200?
I think you got 4 sets of tires on the stand over there, and the 3 and the 2 are going to go on lap number 1. They're going to run as hard as they can, Sam, for this first stage. See what kind of truck they have. Everybody else, if you didn't get a good qualifying run, you really need to make up that track position in the early going. I expect to see these guys run hard in stint number 1.
Well, we saw the sparks and the fireworks last week at that of Lucas Oil. We'll see what sparks and fireworks we now get under the lights as the drivers for that of the NASRA Triple N Pulling Truck Series getting ready for the green flag to be raising. It's the Butt Kicker 200 at Texas, and we are green as Chris Cinnamon gets on the throttle. Same for that of Ted Wade. It's going to be that inside row with a little bit of a better launch. It's the 3, just 1 truck length ahead, going down into turn 1.
Down along the bottom goes Chris Cinnamon for the first time out of turn number 2 to the back straightaway. He's going to have right in tow the rest of the field. Everybody kind of singles out, but they're side by side back there for about 5th and 6th.
Going to be side by side as well for second place as Ted Wade wants to take that position for himself. There's Stephen Thomas, Mr. Consistent for the 23. A little bit of a brush into the wall, though. That's going to be lead 61 of Gregory. That is not the way you want to start out. Just on lap number 2, getting just too close to the outside wall. And Kevin, I know that aerodynamics can be a factor here in Texas, but the 61's got to be careful as drivers out of turn 2, the danger zone, and they're shuffling already behind, trying to make sure they can stay in the top 15.
Yeah, I think the number one thing at this high-speed racetrack is do not do any damage. That is not going to help Gregory out at all. Even a slight little ding to the side of the truck could potentially cause him an issue of not being able to stay in that draft. We'll have to keep an eye on him all night long, and I think he's going to be one to count himself fortunate for that lap 30 caution for the stage break, where he can go in and fix some of that damage if he actually did pick up a little scrape.
Again, we're going to have 3 different stages. Stage 1 and 2, bonus points for the top 10 drivers from where they finish. Going to be on lap 30 and on lap 65 are going to be our 2 stage breaks before we race it to the end of this 135 lap races. There's our last week winner. Led only 1 lap there, Kevin. It was Joey Doucette. The absolute dive bomb from Greg Lothan into that of taking out that of Keith Haney, and Joey Doucette kind of felt like he lucked into a win last week. Now he's hoping to go for another win potentially here with one of his best starts in 9th place.
Yeah, I think the boys were called Moki and Rocket Man last week after that flight he took over there. But here comes Doucette on the charge. He comes down low. Gregory, that right side of the truck is dinged and scraped. We did see the damage as he went by us here.
Yeah, I mean, right now these drivers are going to be side by side. You see that of Gregory trying his best as Joey Doucette trying to go up 1 more position if possible. But we're only on lap number 5. And now it's going to be seeing Chris Cinnamon up front doing a great job for himself.
If you said he's going to make that charge and he's going to drive away, he's got a good truck on him right now. And he'll set sail and see if he can catch up to Devin Painter right in front of him. He's got about 6 or 8 car lengths to catch up as he rolls out of the corner. Let's take a lap with him as he goes down the back straightaway here. He'll turn down in the corner, maybe breathe the throttle, maybe drag the brake a little bit. He'll let the truck roll all the way to the bottom. He wants to go to the white line, he will. Sweeps way up high. Here he comes down the front straightaway. Move up to the outside lane. not really running the grass. Some guys will run right down along that grass. And here again, he's just maintaining the truck length, the truck width up off the corner. That gives him all the room he needs, Sam, to run up off the corner and have whatever he needs. Because sometimes the truck will push coming up off that corner. You really don't want to plow up and hit the wall.
No, you really don't, and we've already seen Gregory do that coming out of turn number 4, and here you see Joey Doucette catching up, and Gregory, he's at least stabilized, I would say, with the damage that he got. He's only lost 3 positions from where he qualified, but luckily, like we've been noting, on past the stage break, we'll be able to move forward, and speaking of moving forward, Joey Doucette, he's caught up to Painter, now going to the inside, starting to think about making moves, and Kevin, talking about tires, it's only a 30-lap sprint that these drivers are going for. 3 and 5 pit stops is not in the minds of anyone. It's all about going as fast as you can. But with a 30-lap stint, is there any thoughts of potentially, saving your tires to have a better, slight long run with a little bit of speed? Or are you thinking just go and be as aggressive as possible?
I think you're just going to go. They ran enough practice to have a sense of what they had. The big thing is when you turn the truck down into the corner, you just cannot put a lot of steering wheel in it. If you grind that right front across the racetrack, it is going to slow. It's going to start to push, and you're going to lose your speed. Here comes Abbott in the 82. Abbott, our biggest mover so far, he's going to pull up 6 positions so far, and you see Chris Cinnamon under the charge. It is Wade to the front. As fast as Cinnamon was in qualifying, Wade has apparently the stronger truck right now in the long run.
That's the big thing, is you can have that speed for, seeing how fast you can be for that 1 lap for qualifying, but it's that race pace and the consistency that you're looking for. And speaking about consistent, we're going to be seeing right here the 82 trying to find a new consistency. Before last week's race was finishing in the teens. That of Abbott, currently at 82, being pressured by those behind. And Gregory, and as well the 44 of Logan Quinn, going to be getting in the mix of our top 10. Going to be seeing the 44 with a strong run here tonight. But for Abbott, started off, missed a couple of races in the beginning of the season. First race was actually at Las Vegas, finished in 18th. Then at Kentucky, finished in 14th. And now trying to go for even a stronger run, trying to go for another top 5 finish if possible. We're seeing all the different battles, and as well, what's great about Texas, the variety of different ways you can attack these corners and all the different lanes, and where you can feel secure and confident to be moving forward.
Oh, the 64 gets tagged. Is he going to straighten it out? Doucette gets into the back of him. Quinn on the scene. Everybody rides it, drives out of that. That was a big contact for Devin Painter.
Huge contact, and the driver that just lost the most momentum is going to be the 44 of Quinn, as Devin Painter is going to have to deal with the majority of that damage, and now going to be swamped because there's going to be Richards, as well as seeing Pitts, and also the dominating driver from last week at that of Lucas Oil. Keith Haney trying his best to make any pass possible, but for the 78, this is where we've seen him usually. That short track racing was so surprising to see the strength that Haney brought. But in these mile-and-a-half courses, it's usually a slow, patient surge. He might not have the best qualifying, but at the end of the race, he'll be up in our top that of 5 at some point in the middle of this, either at the end of stage 2 or once we get to halfway.
Yeah, looked low, unable to make the pass there, and then he's cruised on by Painter. That truck a little bit damaged, and I think he's just going to have to hold on and see if he can get it fixed. We saw quite a bit of damage in the back when Doucette got into him, and yeah, there's action all over the place. I'm kind of surprised. I didn't think it would be this filled, but you see the 3 of Cinnamon under attack now.
Going to be Stephen Thomas, who's one of our biggest movers of those that are in the top 5. Going to be up 3 positions after that pass on Chris Cinnamon. And Cinnamon now is kind of feeling the burden of how fast he was in those first 5 laps. Now the tires burnt off, falling backwards. And you got to give credit to our top 3. They have checked out from the rest of the field. 4th place runner, that of Hunter Parsons, is going to be a 2.5 seconds or more back from our front 3, where he's going to be dealing with that of Luis Rivera in the 97. This is for 4th and 5th on screen that you see, with Rolo Meza back in that of 6th place. Good to see the 93 having a strong run here early here at that of the Butt Kicker 200 at Texas.
Yeah, going back to that incident we saw before, One of the dynamics that we haven't talked about is the draft that's in play. These trucks will suck up, and if you get a good run coming down the backstretch, you'll try to dive low, and if the driver behind you doesn't recognize the good run that you have, then you get what Doucette had, where he got into the back of Painter, and you're carrying so much speed, there's just no way to stop the truck before you make contact. The two of them banged off of each other pretty well there, as you see Doucette going down last week's winner. It hurt both of them, but Doucette's still riding in the top 10, and here he is closing in using that draft on Lumpkin.
Doing a great job of trying to get by Lumpkin right now, and Lumpkin's been kind of Mr. Just stay where I'm at, under the radar, I feel like, for the majority of these races. And for the 87, ninth place currently is Joey Doucette. Has lost a couple of positions, was trying to crack into the top 8, and now has lost that ninth place position to Lumpkin. And Doucette in a decent spot, but has to be careful, as if he loses any more ground, he could be under trouble of Pitts, Richards, Haney, and also that of Taylor Peacock closing in on the gap. As you're right on board with the 16, last week's winner at short track racing, that of Lucas Oil, and right now looking good. And we're riding on board, like I noted, on the different ways you want to attack. But Kevin, just hearing the throttle of trying to go into these corners, I think that's a key thing. Of the throttle control is what's allowing a lot of these drivers just to be able to turn into these corners as clean as they are.
Yeah, everybody attacks the corners differently. I've been notoriously accused of never using the brake. I'll pull the truck in and it'll have perfect brakes. And, you know, they can adjust the brake bias. And when they step on the brake, it does make the truck turn a little bit to the left. Some drivers will drag the brake, trail brake it's calling. Other drivers will step on that brake, get the car or truck slowed down, and then drive it from the center off. This type of racetrack, though, it requires you to carry the speed down through the corner. Again, you just slow it down enough using your throttle sometimes by lifting off, but never out of the gas all the way, so that the truck takes a set and gets a turn. We saw it before where Doucette went in the corner, he had the draft of the truck in front of him, and he was able to hold that bottom line. And, you know, he had a good carve on the corner, and he was able to drive it out. And you can see he's closing in here on Lumpkin once again.
Yeah, and Joey Doucette is the driver that's in 10th place. Stage break going to be on lap 30 for these drivers. And Joey Doucette's got to be a little bit more hesitant. And if he's looking in his mirror, that 48 of Robert Richards is closing in, getting a little bit bigger each lap in that mirror of the 16. I think it might be go time. If you're wanting these bonus points for Joey Doucette, he's got to get up to speed and make sure that none of the other drivers behind get any type of chances, as we're on board on your bottom right with Joey Doucette, as well as seeing the battle cam for all the drivers currently right here battling for 8th place.
Yeah, we see Lumpkin go to the high side. Sometimes if you just let the truck be free up there, when you come off the corner, you get a good run, and you can see he's able to gap the truck a little bit. And here he's closing in, trying to see if he can get to the back of Gregory. And we'll see how it works as everybody choosing different lines and styles off these corners. But when you get that good run off the corner, you can pick up the draft and go on by. Look at Doucette going to follow him through.
Lumpkin got a great launch, and so did that of Joey Doucette. After the 61, Stephen Gregory gets into that outside wall. Gregory going to have to struggle with that just slightly. And that's even more damage onto that right side that he had already gotten earlier in the race. And now catching up to Raul Meza, who is just in cruise control. I got to say, a great start for the 93, who's had a couple of off weeks for Raul Meza, who's just trying to survive. It's still a very long race. Look at finding ourselves with over 100 laps to go. As again, stage 1, looking at lap 30 for these drivers is when we're going to see that yellow be thrown. And all the drivers in the top 10 get those bonus points.
Haney looks to the bottom of Richards, trying to see if he can make the pass up front. Everything's kind of in status quo. Wade's out front of Thomas, out in front of Cinnamon. And Hunter Parsons, we haven't talked about him. He's solidly in the top 5. But all the battling on the racetrack has been back here as Haney tries to get down underneath, draw enough speed to see if he can steer underneath on the entry. Unable to do it as Richards carves down to that white line. He's going to let the truck drift up and carry the speed. This is a pretty good battle. I like the look of that number 27 truck back there, just looking for the opportunity.
just waiting. I mean, at this point, just be attached to the toe that's going to be pulling you along right now. That of Robert Richards. The goal, try to cut down a half a second on the drivers ahead. That's where you're going to be finding down to Stephen Gregory, Joey Doucette, Roll Mesa, and Lumpkin. Those are all drivers 7th to 10th. And for that of Robert Richards, he's in 11th place, just one spot out from bonus points. And Keith Haney might be feeling a little bit impatient as the drivers ahead of them get a little bit more racy, which is enabling Richards and Haney to get more pace and slowly closing in the gap as we're coming out of 3 laps to go here in stage number 1.
If I'm Pitts, I'm looking for the opportunity. When they get side by side, it drags both of those trucks back, and you get the draft, and that is a possible chance to drive underneath both of them. Now they are side by side. We'll see if Pitts can draw up and come up out of the corner and find a lane to go past both of them, as Haney has a good run up out of 4 right along the grass. This is a gaggle of truck, and we're trying to figure out who's going to get themselves to that top 10 and get some stage points.
Raul Mesa is going to be that bubble driver in the 93 white and blue. That is the driver in 10th place. It's Haney, that Robert Richards, and Justin Pitts trying to figure out how they're going to dice this up. How are they going to, who's going to get that bonus point? Can they get by Mesa? This is the go time as our leader, Ted Wade, still up front, leading for now. 2 laps to go here in stage number 1. As the battling to see who's going to be in the top 10 continues on. But Kevin, it has been dominance from Ted Wade as there goes the 48 taking the 10th place position. Mesa's under trouble as also they're going to have a little bit of lap traffic in the 88 of Hardwick's going to be in the way.
Yeah, they're just trying to be careful. One of them actually just banged into the back of Hardwick. It's Haney giving him a little tap. Now he pulls low and draws away as Hardwick goes to the hot side. Everybody's going to clear.
Top 10 all coming across. Currently, it's that 48 of Robert Richards who's got a big enough lead, and it doesn't look like Keith Haney's going to be able to get close enough, nor is that going to be anyone else getting close as the drivers racing on. It's Ted Wade up front coming out of turn number 4. Come to the end of stage number 1 here for the Butt Kicker 200. And stage 1 goes to the 2 of Ted Wade. Bonus points goes to the 2. And all the other drivers going to be that of Stephen Thomas, Chris Cinnamon, Hunter Parsons, with that also of Luis Rivera, Abbott, Lumpkin, Doucette, Gregory, and as well Richards going to be your top 10, getting those bonus points here for stage number 1, sponsored by that of Sim Racer Hub.
Yeah, troubles for Devin Painter. We saw his incident earlier. He's back to 19th, down 9 positions with the truck on the move. Has been Brian Abbott. In that first stint, he was up 9 positions, running in 6. Nobody's had anything for Ted Wade, but now that they're going to put them all nose to tail again with fresh tires, it'll be interesting to see if anybody from the back is going to come up here and join this fray for the top 3.
Drivers have 4 sets of tires in pit road to work with as everyone's catching up to the pace car. They're going to be coming into pit road, but for us, we're going to step aside real quick when we come back. Stage 2 here for that of the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series.
This is our series,
So many different pieces that you have to watch out for.
where the stakes are always higher,
$300,000.
where virtual meets reality,
How bad do you want it? They're wasting no time getting at it.
where the best thrive and the flawless win. This is the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now here on LSRTV, it's NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series here tonight, Season 4 for race number 9 at the Butt Kicker 200. As drivers are here at the Texas Motor Speedway, as we've already are down stage 1, and it was Ted Wade in that number 2 machine finding himself winning and dominating. And it was spectacular fashion over that of a 1.2 seconds over Chris Cinnamon, and as well that of Stephen Thomas. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Kevin England, and as well having LSR TV Studios running all the backgrounds, graphics, cameras. They've got it all, and it's been all crystal clear 4K action here tonight. Kevin, it's been already stage 1 is down. Drivers are still seeing the pace truck lights are on. What are your takes here from stage number 1?
It's actually been an action-packed race. I've seen a little contact, trucks hitting the wall, a lot of passing coming through. Kind of what we thought that would be a pretty hard run in that first stage, and I suspect we're going to have more of the same here. The million-dollar question, does anybody have anything for Wade? Do the drivers like Devin Painter, whose truck got messed up, they did get that truck fixed. I see it looks pretty good right now. They pounded out the back and pounded out the fenders, and we'll see if these trucks with damage can run. There's a bunch of different storylines we'll have to follow here in stage 2.
Absolutely is. As Ted Wade has found himself being the bridesmaid to these races twice, once at that of the iRacing Super Speedway earlier this season, and as well at Dover. So the two trying to go for his very first win of the season. He's been the second most consistent driver all season long, and we could see he's had the most poles for this 2 with 3 so far this season. Came up shy of getting his 4th Blanchard Towing Pole Award. We'll see if Ted Wade can at least get himself into the Butt Kicker victory lane here tonight. As the drivers are stacking up, it's going to be Ted Wade, Chris Cinnamon, Stephen Thomas, Hunter Parsons, and that of Jose Luis Rivera going to be your top 5, with that of Brian Abbott, Justin Lumpkin, Joey Doucette, Robert Richards, and Stephen Gregory going to be your top 10. Drivers getting ready. Also want to give note, a lot of drivers stayed in trying to get damage repaired. Devin Painter, Wigginton, Hedden, as well as that of Taylor Peacock, Hartwig, and Eric Zimmerman. All extended time in pit road. They're all on track. We got 2 drivers a lap down. That of Eric Zimmerman's going to be 1 lap down. Dane Hagen going to be 14 laps down after extreme server issues for the 39. He was able to finally connect in. It's back out on track, but 14 laps down. It is going to be a long day for the 39. As Ted Wade, Chris Cinnamon getting ready to go green as the pace truck's about to pull off. Stage number 2, sponsored by that of Sim Racer Hub, about to get underway. As the pace truck is off, the 2 is gone. Air Butt Kicker 200 is green, and the drivers race the lap 65 to finish out stage number 2.
Yeah, Wade shot out, looked like he was on a speed sled. Cinnamon trying to follow suit. Here comes Thomas to the bottom, and everybody else going to get down to that low line here as the trucks come up to speed and come back to the back straightaway. Side by side for again about that 6th, 7th position. Everybody comes up through the gears. They're going to get their tire temperatures up, and there is Doucette, who's had an eventful race and finds himself right now in the 7th position.
And also who's going to be seen right now on screen, 6th place runner, that of Jose Luis Rivera, going to be started up in 3rd place. Pretty good qualifying time for the 97. It's fallen back a couple of positions, but at least is in the top 10. The 97 going to be having that of Abbott, as well as Doucette going to be sandwiching in the 97. And big credit to that of Abbott, one of our biggest movers of the night. But if we have to talk about the biggest mover, it is the driver all the way back in that of 13th place, where we find the 5, Jacob Klinghardt. But the second biggest mover going to be Keith Haney, and Abbott going to be the 3rd biggest movers. There's the 5 currently being pressured by that of Justin Pitts, and next driver in line for the 5 going to be that of Blake Lothian, going to be in that of 12th position.
Yeah, Mesa slipped up. That allowed Klinghardt to slide underneath. He had to stall just a little bit to turn the truck down and drive off from it. That allowed Pitts to get right to that back bumper. Now Klinghardt picks up another position. He's in lucky 13th, and he's working on the back of Blake Lothian. Blake doesn't look like he has as much speed as I've seen him have through the season.
Yeah, I mean, that's the main thing. I've heard over the radio, when he comes to these mile-and-a-half tracks, he feels like he can be fast at times, but it's primarily at the road courses where the 59 has felt the strongest, and that's where he finds his only win of the season. Going to be back at Watkins Glen for that of Blake, as you see the pressure on the 5, going to be pushed up. That of Justin Pitts, able to push up Klinghardt. Klinghart's got to be careful, though. Roland Meza now going to be pressuring on the inside of the 93. A long pit stop, losing a lot of ground as they're going to be side by side. The battling that's going on currently for that of 12th position and back to 15th as everyone single files out and they are now on the run as your Millie's Restaurant and Catering 59 of Blake Lothian doing a great job through 3 and 4, trying to go on the move by Justin Pitts. He's on a mission for himself, right on the back bumper of Lothian.
Yeah, Pitts looking for that track position here at stage 2, and then maybe he'll set himself up for that long run to the finish. Peaks low, he's down underneath. He's got the nose underneath the truck. Got to be careful he doesn't wash up here coming up off the corner. Tight to the back bumper. Can he use the draft? He's going to see if he can peek out, come into turn number 3, and make that pass. He dives down low as Lothian covers the ground. He's going to cover right to him, as that's going to take some of the air off of Pitt's truck. The truck won't turn as well. So you see a battle right behind them with the 5 of Klinghardt going underneath Meza. I like what Klinghardt did a little bit ago where he pulled up. He's got time. Just being patient with that truck, but to your point, Pitts is on a different strategy. He seems to be hammered down right now trying to wrestle that position away and get the 12.
Yeah, I mean, trying to go for that 12th place position is going to be Justin Pitts, trying to go after the 59. And right now, trying to do the best that he can. But you look back, some drivers that are on the move. Going to be seeing the 33 of that of Matt Rudder up 7 positions from where he qualified back in 22nd position up to 15th. And trying to gain any more spots for the 33. And you can tell he's 33 is those massive numbers.
I love that.
Hard to miss.
I think that's kind of cool. I love those little signature things that make something stand out. That's really kind of a neat effect there. Good run out of turn number 4. He's going to take the high side out of 4. He is almost pushing Klinghardt down the straightaway there. Klinghardt turns the truck in. The question is, Matt looks like he's letting off and letting the truck drive off of the corner to get those massive runs down the backstretch with the draft and see if he can get that position. Good corner for Klinghardt. He was able to gap him a little bit. And, well, right now, everything's kind of set to conveyor belt. Everybody running nose to tail. It's a good battle up there for about 5th or 6th. We see Abbott trying to dive down underneath Hunter Parsons and make that pass. Abbott's going to turn it down and the truck sticks, and that's a good run off the corner.
Also going to be seeing Joey Doucette and that of Rivera going to be side by side. Joey Doucette doing a great job moving forward. Again, around the time that we had our stage 1 break, it was seeing the 16 back around 9th position. 9th to 10th was where he was buffering back and forth. As Abbott's been on the move, qualified 15th, up 11 positions and up to 4th. Kevin, I mean, this is impressive to see. We talk about some drivers just have better race pace than qualifying pace for themselves. Right now, the 82 certainly is showing that. As Hunter Parsons, I think a driver in my mind I thought was going to be a top 3 truck racing here tonight, just struggling to stay in the top 5 at the moment.
Yeah, but if you look at the lap times for these drivers, fastest guy on the track right now is Brian Abbott, a 30:42 last time to a 30:51 for your leader. And Abbott has just been on sale here as we got problems for the 43.
And because the 43 was slow, admin thrown yellow. I believe it's going to be on the backstretch. Contact for that of the 43. Going to be issues as we look at our first Pulse Poppers instant replay of the night. Go back and see exactly what happened here. And it's going to see Painter clobbering the wall on the exit of turn 4. Then it's going to be coming out of turn 2. Actually, I take that back. It's actually the 33 of Matt Rudder, who's extremely slow. And Kevin, just The 33 was already struggling, and it looks like it continues on as he slides up, not clear, not a little bit of slashing, dashing, late blocking, both going to be going down low.
Hold it, straight, hold it, don't go, oh. Nobody hits him.
Oh boy, and there was Cody Knott as well as Taylor Peacock that were able to get by. And I think if Cody Knott had gotten hit there, being so far back, that probably would have been the biggest explosion I've heard, because Cody Knott has had the worst luck of just being in the back, trying to avoid wrecks, and gets involved in almost every single one, it feels like, for that 26. Survives this go around. As this yellow comes out, strategy, Kevin, now can be thrown out. These drivers got about 10 laps of green flag racing. I can take that back, about 13 laps of green flag racing. Who's going to come into pit road? Who might take tires? Who might not? As they had a total of 4 sets to work with coming into the night. And most of them had used a set at that stage break. We'll see if anyone else wants to use a set here in the middle of stage 2.
Yeah, cautions are going to be at a premium, I think, in the second half of this race, and 67 laps and change is your halfway mark. So I'm going to bet that these guys are going to stay out and keep their track position. I don't know that tires are going to add up to driving through the field, but, you know, crew chiefs know better than I do, so we'll see whether the commentators get it right.
Looking back, it looks like that of Robert Richards as well, seeing that Christopher Blanchard, Klinghardt, Raul Meza going to be the drivers that came into pit road. Well, if you're excited for short track racing, we're going to be having some of the best and the super late models, some of the fastest drivers we've covered on LSRTV. Sunday is when it finally comes together. It's the Super Late Model Invitational, March 20th, and this is going to be a fun one. These drivers, $500 on the line, and it's all going to be on here live on LSRTV at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And these drivers, I mean, we got some very fast guys, some that are in NASRA, some we've covered in other short tracks leagues. Kevin, I'm excited for Sunday. It's going to be a blast to watch, and all these drivers going to North Wilkesboro. That's the racetrack where they're going to have to see who can be the fastest and get the $500.
I think dollar for dollar, the late model is one of the best cars in the sim, and the power ratio, the way the car drives, and it's sexy. I have always thought that it's just an amazing looking car, and it's going to be an outstanding show.
I mean, the last time that we saw super late models on LSR TV was for the main sim racing series, and we saw drivers have such hot tempers. They were taking each other out purposefully coming to the white flag. So wouldn't be surprised if we see a similar thing there tonight, because it's not just for points, cash on the line, and everyone's going to be wanting it. And again, some of the fastest drivers that we've seen on LSR TV going to that invitational event. As lights are still on, we're getting ready to go green. Drivers that have been aggressive, Ted Wade has been one of the fastest drivers up there, with also Stephen Thomas, Chris Cinnamon. They haven't been changing that much. But Kevin, this gives an opportunity for the 82. Wondering how good this restart's going to be for that of Brian Abbott, how well he can stick with our top 3.
Yeah, certainly driving where you're going to run somebody down is hard when you're at race pace. When the yellow comes out, you're right to the back bumper of the guy in front of you, and every one of these drivers is thinking this is an opportunity to get some of those positions. And, you know, quite frankly, watching that run, just peeking out of the corner and looking at Wade, unlike the run before, he didn't drive away. He was not able to gap out for a couple seconds. Stephen Thomas was kind of in tow right behind him. You know, I think if you're running in second to Wade, you don't want to be up under the bumper, because the truck's not going to turn. They're going to set back just a little bit and measure him with a yardstick to see what kind of truck that 2 has. Maybe the 23 is sizing him up. Maybe the 3 is sizing him up. Maybe the 82 is going to get the pass here. I do like this caution because it helps us understand a little bit more, get more data to how this race is going to play out as it unfolds.
A little bit of a cool-off period for these drivers when we go green. 14 laps to go for these drivers here for stage number 2, sponsored by that Sim Racer Hub. For these drivers is your stage break sponsor. Do want to give note that of Curtis Head-End's going to be finding himself already parking it for the day. The 95 is done. And that is a position that Dan Hagen can be finding himself grabbing it after being still out there on track, even with the misfortunes. And that's that mental fortitude that you'll love to see from drivers. Yes, I might have missed out. Yes, I might be, double digits down on laps, but I'm still going to be running as hard as I can, grab every point possible, and see if I can make it into the playoffs. But up front, some of these drivers looking for their first win of the season. Ted Wade, Stephen Thomas, they've got some speed for themselves. Same goes to that of Chris Cinnamon, Abbott, Luis Rivera, also that of Hunter Parsons going to be your top 6 as we are green once again for the Butt Kicker 200. As these drivers are running to the end of lap 65, that will be the end of stage 2. Ted Wade trying to go for his second stage win of the night.
Outstanding run by Cinnamon. It almost looked like he had a rope tied to the back of Wade, and the two of them just dragged each other out of the hole there. Cinnamon now chasing him down. He's got a good run into 3, actually closing in on Wade. He's going to peak low, get some air on the left front of his truck, and tuck right into the back bumper coming up to the back straightaway, or to the front stretch, sorry. I'll tell you what, Cinnamon looks a little racy right here.
I mean, he's keeping it close. It helps when you get those cool-off laps, allowing these tires on the trucks to cool off and then get ramped up with heat once more to riding on board with Chris Cinnamon, trying to run down our leader of Ted Wade and right on the back bumper. But like most mile-and-a-half racetracks, Kevin, you can catch up to some of these drivers with the draft pretty easily if you've got the fresh tires. It's making the pass that makes this probably the most difficult thing to do as laps continue to tick away. Again, end of lap 65 is the goal. That's where stage 2 will come to a close.
You could see he drew up there on the end of the front stretch, and when it went to turn in, the truck didn't turn. He had to give it a big yank to the left. That's where we were talking about wearing that right front tire out. And I suspect that cost him a little speed, and you saw him drop off in that speed shot. As out back, look at Gregory trying to do something with Doucette here. Everybody knows the stage is coming to a close. You might as well run as hard as you can at this point and get whatever you have left out of the tires you have on the truck.
Well, right now, got to be careful for that of Stephen Gregory, because he almost got put in the sucker hole in the middle as Blake Lothian as well as Justin Pitts. Those are two drivers outside, battling for that 10th place position. It's currently the 59 and the 27 side by side, trying to see whoever wins that battle is in the top 10. Only the top 10 get those bonus points. Got to be seeing Joey Doucette in 8th place currently, doing a great job, but catching up to the drivers ahead of him. Looks like a little bit of a shimmy, but Pitts drifting up, trying to squeeze the 59 as much as possible up into the outside wall. Plenty of space, though. Not putting either one of the drivers in danger as the laps tick away. 10 laps to go. Coming up to 9 when they cross the line for Ted Wade.
Yeah, Pitts was pinching the truck down and looked almost like he was in a four-wheel drift. Had to just breathe the throttle a little bit. That allowed Lothian to drive away. You have to think last week's incident with Lothian, he's probably driving under penalty, self-inflicted, meaning he's just trying to make sure he does not have any contact with anybody here tonight. And, well, for this stint, he seems to be showing a little bit of speed, currently running in 10th.
As we move up to the lead, Chris Cinnamon found this run on the inside over the 2, and now Ted Wade going to be under pressure. Here comes Stephen Thomas, Hunter Parsons. It's a 4-truck battle for first place, as Cinnamon has the lead for now. Second place going to be side by side. Thomas coming with the run. The laps are ticking away, and Ted Wade's chances of sweeping stage 1 and 2, they seem to be just slipping through his fingertips here, Kevin. But here comes Hunter Parsons in the 0 to the inside.
Parsons looking for that 3rd position, and that really just was one of those great runs by Cinnamon. Drove the truck in, and Ted Wade saw him coming, didn't contest it, but now he sits right on that back bumper, and I think he's looking to replay the favor here.
And trying to figure out how to stay right on the core panel, have still an opportunity, is the 2 of Ted Wade. As, oh boy, Abbott behind for 5th place, gets out of control for his 2nd. Also the battling that's going on for drivers for that 10th place position. As for 5th place, it's going to be seen out of Haney making the pass, as well as Joey Doucette almost thinking about setting up for 6th, as Abbott's got to be careful on losing too much ground for himself. But this is what we love about seeing this middle of the stage yellow. It gave all these drivers another opportunity for passes, and Abbott with aggression on the outside, just letting the 82 drift up. But here comes the run out of the corner.
Yeah, his truck did not turn in at all. It just basically plowed all the way through the corner. Doucette was going to be able to drive underneath him. Now the question is, will it hook up down here in 3 and 4? He's got a good run, but I think Doucette's going to cover the position. He's going to have to tuck in behind, and he's going to give up that 6th position.
Oh, almost a little bit of a bump there to Doucette. I had a little bit of a scare for a quick moment. 5 laps to go here in stage number 2. And the driver that's on that bubble spot for 10th place is that teal 59 in the middle, just running as well as he can. What if he gets passed by the 27 or the 87? He drops outside of the top 10 and no bonus points. Goes to Blake Lothian as well as Stephen Gregory and also Raul Meza. They're getting going to be seeing, seeing that of Jose Luis Rivera going to be finding the 97 just a little bit out of shape, a little bit of a shimmy, scary entry into turn 1. Kevin, these drivers, you can just tell they're ramping up, and they can tell they need every single position. And here they go once again, that battle for 10th.
Lothian's got a good run. Can he do something with it? Get down here into the corner, get to the back of Rivera. Unfortunately, he's going to slide up a little bit. Pitt's going to go down underneath him. He's actually going to lose the position as it looks like Pitts is going to now work on the back of Rivera. Now in front of him, Gregory to the outside of Abbott, who's slipping here.
Up and on board with the 27, and Justin Pitts going to be going for 9th place. Looking to be clear as it's going to be seeing that of Lothian following suit. Dropping down, going with a very shallow entry for now in that 10th place position. And Lumpkin's going to be following suit. Now we're going to be 2 by 2, 3 rows deep. And just like that, it's going to be Abbott who's falling backwards. And I'm thinking here, Kevin, that 82 might have burnt up too much of those tires. 2 laps to go for stage number 2.
Yeah, he's just trying to get to that yellow and get himself 4 fresh tires, and then he'll have to reset and figure out how hard to run for that final run. I have to say, though, how about Cinnamon making a race out of this, driving by Wade and leading out front? He just continues to hold as that battle back here is for the contest. Yellow comes out. Cinnamon going to take the stage win.
A beautiful run there from Chris Cinnamon, able to make the pass on Ted Wade, and all credit has to go to that yellow that came in the middle of stage 2. Gave Cinnamon another chance to attack, and a great run for the 3 machine. As your top 10 going to be Chris Cinnamon, Ted Wade, Hunter Parsons, Stephen Thomas, as well as Keith Haney, Joey Doucette. That is Stephen Gregory, Justin Pitts, Brian Abbott, and Blake Lothian going to be your top 10, getting those bonus points. 2 different stage winners. Stage 1 goes to Ted Wade. Stage 2 goes to Chris Cinnamon, our Blanchard Towing Pull Award winner of the 3 here tonight. And also could say that he is a Sim Racer Hub stage break winner. Is the number 3. Kevin, stage 1, stage 2 are done. What are some of your thoughts here? And as we are coming up to halfway through this race.
Yeah, check the box. You know, those hard runs that we saw where you know there's tires on the other end of it are over. Now it's going to be one of those runs all the way to the finish. We could see this green all the way through, but I suspect, you know, all that give and take we always talk about, we're going to see more take as this thing gets to the end. I think there's going to be a little more extracurricular activity as this race wears on.
Well, we still got a lot more racing to go. Stage 1, stage 2 are done. Halfway through the race is coming up. We'll be back in just a few.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
This is our series,
So many different pieces that you have to watch out for.
where the stakes are always higher,
$300,000.
where virtual meets reality,
How bad do you want it? They're wasting no time getting at it.
where the best thrive and the flawless win. This is the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series Season 4, race number 9 here at Texas for the Butt Kicker 200 on LSRTV. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Kevin England with also LSRTV Studios. We're giving you all the camera, graphics, everything that allows this thing to be working. As Kevin, we're done with Stage 1. We're done with Stage 2. It's all about racing it to the end, that of lap 135. Little bit of gambling going on, though, as Jacob Klinghardt, who was one of the drivers that came into pit road with our middle of stage 2 caution, it is now enabled the 5 to come into pit road during that time. He's going to be on much older tires, and the only driver to have stayed out. Everyone else came into pit road for fuel and tires.
Yeah, I have to wonder if he just stayed out to lead a lap and he's going to duck in here. We'll see whether he stays on the racetrack. And in fact, he's going to drive right by the cone. So he's going to lead us back to green. This should make for an interesting run and a comparison to see how a truck with a couple laps on the tires, he pitted lap 48 to lap 66 for everybody else, are going to perform. Maybe that track position being out front, if he can do it, is going to cover him.
I also want to give note of some other drivers that have called it a night already. You talked about the 95, Curtis Hedden, who had already parked it about 26 laps ago. New driver in going behind the garage going to be Eric Zimmerman in the 94, who is done. Freddie LaBeouf, who was sitting in pit road for an extended time with damage for the 9. A poor showing here tonight for himself, and that of Dan Hagan, able to move up 2 positions, even though he missed the first 14 laps of the race. He's now going to be only 13 laps down after taking a waiver round, but it's going to be Zach Hartwick, who is in the lucky dog position. 29 drivers on the lead lap. Kevin, we've already seen the sprints. Now long run racing is what we're expecting moving forward. What are you expecting for these drivers as we're about to go green?
I think they want to be very careful with the 5. Klinghardt. He's not led a lap this year. He has one top 10 if I'm not mistaken, but yeah, the first thing they want to do is break this down into segments. Let's get around this 5 cleanly and then go race it out for Wade. I'm not sure if he wants to beat Cinnamon to turn 1 or ride behind him for a while, but as we see that green flag about the wave, we're going to figure out how this works.
It's the Butt Kicker 200, and we are green. We're racing it to the end. We're past halfway. And it's going to be Chris Cinnamon, Jacob Klinghardt going to be your front 2, but the 5 is going to be the driver to watch out for. As you see there, static cams. So the drivers are just roaring on by. And you see the field, they're pretty spread out from one another, and this is good to be seen, Kevin, is the field just giving each other plenty of space with this wide course. That's what you love to see as the driver gets back on track. I believe that was LaBeouf. The rest of the field continuing to race on, and somehow out of turn 4, the 5 still in the lead with the older tires.
Yeah, the 3 of Cinnamon out of turn number 2 just buzzed the tires. The truck got completely sideways. Klinghardt looked up, saw it, said, I'll take it, drove away, and now he's out front with that clean air. But boy, is he under a lot of pressure. Cinnamon trying to make do for what happened over there in turn 2 last time. Charges into turn number 3. He's putting the pressure on for the lead once more.
Side by side for second place. You saw the bobbling, the moving, the wiggling, and it's going to be side by side still for second is Cinnamon, Hunter Parsons, and here comes Ted Wade. Now going to be keeping it side by side for third is the 0. Not able to find any type of speed, and here comes the driver that dominated last week but wasn't able to win after getting wiped out going into turn number 1 on the white flag. Keith Haney in the top 5, slowly marching forward as we're almost going to be seeing 3 Watt for second. as Ted Wade backs out cleanly for now as we're side by side for the lead. Chris Cinnamon taking the lead back. It's Klinghardt. He's now in the lost cause, stuck on the high side, older tires. He's going to be going backwards.
Yeah, at turn 2 the last time, Klinghardt just could not get the truck to turn. That is the difference. When you have fresh tires, the truck is going to cut as Wade, his truck steps out, coming out, trying to get all that he can out of the corner. And now Klinghardt has dropped back to 4th. The good news for him is if he can kind of tuck in behind these guys, maybe he could ride in their slipstream and stay up here in maybe the top 5 and just keep in contact with them and see if a caution will come out and put everybody even on tires.
Well, he's trying his best, but there's just no opening right now. Our front, you could say front 8, all on top of one another, not giving anyone any space. I mean, the further back I go back, I mean, even our top 9 technically are still on top of one another. That's where we're going to be finding a position for the 5 as everyone's jostling and packing. This is going to be from 9th up to that of 6th place on top of one another, and everyone's going to be staying low, hoping that they can keep themselves neat and tidy. Klinghardt, older tires by over that of almost 20 laps. The 5 did a great job for 2 laps holding strong, but now is just in the clutches of everyone else. And you look at this pack right now. Kevin, our leader, is back to 8th place. From our leader to 8th place, it's going to be 1.5 seconds is the difference as the 5 continues to go backwards, a little bit of contact with Pitts, and that's really going to be losing them some ground.
Yeah, that's really what you don't want, is you don't want to damage the truck. You don't want to slide up and hit the wall. Now he's going to find a slot. He's going to settle in, and we'll have to see where that plays out for him as you see Pitts in the 27 working his way forward. He's looking out the front at Brian Abbott, trying to run him down. Top 5 have kind of settled in here nose to tail, and Cinnamon out in front one more time with Wade, who has a fast truck right behind him, as we got the conveyor belt running. My sense here, Sam, is given the number of laps and the fact that you have no idea whether we'll see another caution, I think these guys are going to ride for a while and make sure they take care of their stuff.
I want to give a big shout out just to the drivers that are on track. The ability that we've only had one on-track incident to bring out a yellow, but it was an admin thrown yellow, and it's been primarily green all the way through, especially with the way I was seeing these drivers racing during practice. I was getting concerned. I thought this race had the potential of being a wreck fest from start to finish, but it's been great racing action as we're past halfway. And right now, right on board with Joey Doucette, who had a great start to this race, but the 16, a little bit further back than I think you would want to be in 12th place, as he's seeing the 5 going high, losing ground, and right where Joey Doucette wants to be.
Got an incident out in the back. The 17 is sideways. The 64 of Devin Painter scraped on it, and we're going to go to caution here as trouble over in turn number 2.
Well, we've talked about this before in other races, but the commentator's curse, I'm so sorry. I talk about no yellow and it strikes, as that of Brandon Bullock going to be the driver that we watch here, and it's just a little tap from the 97, and Painter gets clipped. 4 drivers pile in, and oh boy, 22 of Sickles. Hard contact for himself there.
Yeah, that was a pretty big hit to the back of the 17, and just 2 drivers running for the same real estate. That's going to happen here.
Right on the back bumper, you just see Rivera just gets onto the throttle so much quicker, and everyone else just nowhere to go. Hard contact for Sickles, who's going to have required damage, gets the meatball flag for the 22. And this could be adding to the total of drivers, calling it a night, as we are already talked about 2 drivers that have headed in, as well as going to be that of Zimmerman going to be done for the night. Well, you can also add in Brady LaBeouf and also Zach Hartwick to the mix, and we might even say other drivers are done for the night, as about half the field that's on the lead lap deciding to come into pit road. This is a different call to be seen. I think majority of them coming in for just topping off with fuel and to get repairs done, but this is kind of surprising on the fact that we have so many drivers, and Stephen Thomas going to be one of the drivers leading coming into pit road.
You know, if you follow the leader, you're going to end up following the leader, as they say. So maybe this is one of those strategies where everybody's going to duck in, take their set of tires, Wonder if it's going to go green, fill it full of fuel, and see what they get. I see Stephen Thomas still sitting down there on pit road. I believe he's probably fixing some sort of damage or something as long as he's out there.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any type of black flag for him, but just sitting in there getting the repairs done for the 23. And he's going to be having his issues. A couple of other drivers as well. As coming soon, it's going to be that of the LiveSimRacing.com of the LSRTV Stock Car Series Tour. Coming soon. More information going to be added on, and this is a series that we've been teasing just every little bit. Seems like every week we just get a little bit closer on more information to be thrown out. And again, all will be on LSRTV. The Stock Car Series, we're excited to say, I mean, this is going to be our kind of baby of this channel. We're excited to be birthing it and having it come out for the rest of the field. Again, more information coming out soon.
Yeah, we got to update an incident that occurred that we didn't catch. Lap 70. Doucette in the number 16, running in the 5th position, got loose coming up off the corner when he was trying to correct it. One of the trucks, I'm trying to see who it was that got into the back of, might have been the 82. No, it was the 27 of Pitts, pounded the back of that truck. And if we can get a camera shot of the back of Doucette, the back of his truck is quite severely damaged, and he's in getting service for that vehicle as he comes off of pit road. The whole left side and back of the truck is smashed. You can see the spoiler is bent over pretty well there.
And for Joey Doucette, he just coming out of pit road after getting more repairs done for the 16. Also, that Justin Lumpkin and others gonna get repairs done and trying to move themselves forward. And speaking of moving forward, because of some of the drivers that have been having some great days are struggling now, this has enabled some of the guys that have been keeping themselves out of trouble, having some great runs. Biggest mover so far here tonight, Huck Wigington, up to 12th position for the 00. Biggest mover, 21 spots after qualifying in 33rd position. And as well, up 20 positions, going to be that of Zach Adams in 71 in 8th place. And then up in the top 5, biggest mover of those, up 16 positions, going to be Keith Haney, who qualified in 20th, now up to 4th.
What'd you go do that for, Sam? What'd you do that? You're going to give the curse to these guys. Don't be doing that.
I have to. We talked about the leaders, and we haven't seen them happen.
No, I like talking about guys that have come from deep within. Wigington, that's a great story, running 12th. Let's see if he can get a top 10 this season. At this point of the season, he's got Funyuns on the truck. How could you not like a truck that has Funyuns on it?
Wait, did he change? He's changed his scheme, didn't he? Yes, it is Funyuns. As here's the replay of the incident you were talking about there, Kevin, as we take a look at it. And you got a better picture, but you can describe the issue for the 16.
Yeah, the truck just steps out here. He gets loose in the center and tries to catch it. And unfortunately, Pitts just punches the back of the truck. As bad as it is for the 16 of Doucette, it's even worse for Pitts as the right front headlight bezel is caved in on that number 27. And I'm sure he's got some damage there. And as you know, Sam, damage to the front of the truck is a lot more severe in an aero-sensitive track like Texas than the back of the truck, but both of them are going to struggle to carry that speed for the rest of the race.
Yeah, it is going to be tough for both those drivers. Luckily, well, there's no more stages, but they're going to hope that another caution comes out of it. It does. They're going to feel a little bit of luck as the pace truck is off. We are green once again for the butt kicker 200. And it's going to be Chris Cinnamon, great launch for himself, Ted Wade, Hunter Parsons, that of Keith Haney, and that of Stephen Gregory going to be your top 5 going down into turn number 1.
One truck up high, slow to the high side. Wigington, I think he spun the tires. Not sure if the truck is damaged, but he's severely off the pace. He's dropped all the way to the back of the field. Now he tucks in, and not sure what the issue is. It's all your fault.
I mean, looking back, I went back to myself. It looked like he purposely just let the field go. Didn't feel comfortable where he was out, as the two still challenging for 3rd position. And it's going to be Ted Wade, Hunter Parsons, and now pressuring onto that of Chris Cinnamon. Our top 3 doing a great job trying to pull away, but you've got some hungry drivers behind him. Keith Haney, as well as that of Brian Abbott and Stephen Gregory, challenging all those in the top 6, as well as we're watching these drivers pull away. Our top 6 doing a great job at it, but it's this battling for that of Gregory. I mean, big kudos to the 61. Has found himself into the outside wall coming out of turn 4 and out of turn 2 in stage 1 and stage 2. 61 somehow has enough speed to keep up with our front runners.
Yeah, just thinking of the trouble that befell Pitts and Doucette and the 64 of Painter. Well, here, Gregory, his truck seems to be holding pace. The key thing for him, if he does have damage, is to make sure that he stays in some sort of draft. That cures a lot of ills. Yeah, we had talked about how the pace was going to pick up here in the latter stage of this run. These guys all running nose to tail. Nobody's going to run away from anybody right now, as these drivers are elbows up.
Elbows up, and it's going to be our top 7 that are in the quote-unquote lead pack. Then you drop back and you find yourselves with that of Robert Richards, Zach Adams, Dana Shepard, as well as going to be seeing that of Justin Pitts. Pitts, yes, he got that front end damage, but still running in the top 11, almost in the top 10. This is great to be seeing these drivers that might not have had the strongest run. Some have been up front. This is great to see that of, Shepard as well as Adams both running well here as we are on lap 87 of 135.
The Pitts trying to make the move underneath Hagan. Hagan is, of course, had his connection problems, and I'm sure they would love to see some track position there as Gregory slips up, watching right in front of that group, the silver truck up to the high line. And that's going to allow the Jose Luis Rivera, number 97, to slip in there. I've been watching the 82 of Abbott up in this group. Everybody seems to be pretty stable, turn the truck down, run a common line. Abbott's truck's been high, it's been low, it's been swinging around. This does not look like he has a stable mount underneath that number 82.
It also could be just he's searching. Speaking of not stable, but
wow,
a little bit of wiggle there. Somehow holds on as Ted Wade, but that was a handful out of the corner, but somehow able to keep that momentum and speed. But it could be also just searching for any type of extra speed and run, and that's what we're going to be seeing here. It's going to be on the inside. That's going to be seeing the 0. Hunter Parsons going for a charge here on Chris Cinnamon. Ted Wade's going to follow suit. Same's going to go for Keith Haney, and Chris Cinnamon needs a good run here out of turn 4, or he might be losing the lead in multiple positions. Side by side, coming across the line, and here comes the 0.
And Parsons going to be scored the leader that lap by 3/100ths of a second. Cinnamon holding him tight, trying to put a little side draft on him. Now Cinnamon slips up. He's got a good run coming down the back straightaway. These trucks are so nervous in the draft.
This might be the best opportunity for Hunter Parsons, and will have it coming out of turn number 4 for now, but 3 still a nose at the door. And here comes Ted Wade, going to be giving the draft help to the 0-5. Hunter Parsons doing great things for himself, but because of the hard racing for our front 3, it's given an opportunity. We're now starting this cluster, just building up bigger and bigger. Now it's going to be our top 8 that are attached to this lead pack. Hunter Parsons has cleared the lead. Cinnamon is still close and trying to figure out how to put a nose underneath the 0. And as well, the battling for 4th place might be heating up as they're still side by side for 5th.
Action all the way through this top pack. When those drivers got side by side for the lead, that kind of stalled everything up front, allowed all these other drivers to pick up a little bit of sniff of draft, a little bit of push, a little bit of, I see something going out the windshield, I'm going to take advantage of it. And you see Richards having a good run in the 48 coming back here. Will he be a challenge to the finish?
Well, the big thing about the 48 of that Robert Richards and for the 5 of Jake Klinghardt, they're going to be back in 7th and 9th place, but they've got fresher tires. By 13 laps, they're going to have a slight advantage trying to carve their way through this field. But once you get into the thick of things up here up front, it's not really about fresh tires, it's about clean air, and that's what Hunter Parsons has. And Chris Cinnamon and Ted Wade side by side for 2nd place, and the 2 trying to get himself solidified in that 2nd place position on the outside. Power move for Ted Wade, now cleared for 2nd place.
I'm just going to let this soak in here for a minute.
That was impressive, and I think Ted Wade might have found something up there, because he's going to go once again Highline, speed, down the backstretch, drafting with Hunter Parsons. We'll see if he'll try moving up once more. Gonna stay in the tire tracks of Parsons for now. It's gonna be the run out of the corner here, Kevin. What does Tedway do? And he looks like he's bump drafting Hunter Parsons down the front stretch.
Yeah, tucked right in underneath, getting the draft. He's going to go up high here. It doesn't pinch the truck down. He's able to swing wide. And then as he comes off and has a run to the corner, he picks up the draft on the straightaway. He's got full pressure on the nose, so the truck steers really well. And this run that you get down the backstretch into turn number 3, you pick it up and you carry it, time it all the way to turn number 4. And right here, if you've got the speed, you can duck underneath and make the run into turn number 1 and execute the pass. It's a full lap to make that work, and you see him playing the game right now, trying to see if he can wrestle the lead away one more time.
Well, he just gets hooked to the back bumper on the straightaways, and all I can imagine is Ted Wade not trying to do it on purpose, but accidentally hooking Hunter Parsons. I mean, it easily can happen where if the 2 gets too big of a run, gives too much of a big push onto the wrong quarter panel, Hunter Parsons could be seeing his race snuffed out in an instant as a little bit of a bigger gap that exit of turn 4 and right into turn 1. Here we go. Ted Wade to the outside. He finally got to the quarter panel where he wants to be. Can Hunter Parsons block the run that the 2's going to have out of turn 2?
Big Mo out of turn number 2, runs down the backstretch. He's going to draw right to the bumper, unable to get the run this time. And I just look back at that number 3 truck of Cinnamon. He's in there watching the professor like a student, looking at all these moves and wondering how he could take advantage of this. Is out in front of the leader, just up a little bit. There's a couple slow trucks that might have a little play in this as we move along through this stint.
As well, slowly but methodically cutting through this group, it's that of Robert Richards and Jacob Klinghardt. They have the fresher tires of everyone that's up in the top 6. So for the 48 and the 5, don't be surprised if they start knocking on the door and making some noise as Keith Haney now moves up to 3rd place. Making the pass on that of Chris Cinnamon. Elias now alive for that 2nd place position. Will the 78 be able to make it to the launch down to the inside? Doesn't look like he's close enough. It's going to be that Robert Richards who's right on the back bumper. Now the slow cars, Kevin. It's chaos, pandemonium for our leaders now going into turn number 3.
Yeah, the big difference for these trucks with the pressure tires, when they cut low, they can carry the speed and the truck carves on the corner. And the biggest loser in that exchange was Cinnamon. Truck pushed out of turn number 4, just could not find any grip. Now Gregory is going to go down underneath of him. As out there, you look at the Haney at 3 wide out of
there
turn
he
number
goes.
2.
Just, I mean, you got the grip. Why not use it? And Robert Richards saw an opening and said, hey, you guys can do whatever you want there. I'm going to take whatever positioning I can, and threw 1 and 2 from that back in 4th place, the 2nd. And now having the leader, Hunter Parsons, in his window. Coming up, the 35 laps to go across the line. Hunter Parsons, he's got to be careful. 3/10 is the difference as the 48 is on the move, trying to get up front and potentially trying to go for a race-winning move.
Yeah, from hero to deflated balloon there for Doucette. What a shame. He had such a fast truck earlier. Now he watches Stricken, the leaders, drive by to the high side. Is the number 87 of Lumpkin. He's going to pull by and let the leaders go through. And Richard's truck is on fire right now. That truck is so much faster than everybody else.
On rails and feeling good. It's nice when you have fresher rubber than the drivers around you, and you're just able to do so many hero types of moves as 48 moves high, a little bit of grip, and because he's got those fresher tires, he can make more aggressive moves. Dive it in, as there's going to be contact further back. It's going to be Chris Cinnamon and Gregory both making contact into the wall. It's Gregory stuck in the wall, though. It's the 61. Yellow flag waves, issue, and oh, you hate to see it for drivers that were up in the top 10.
Wow, this changes everything.
Oh, now the question is, who's going to take that set of... I'm not expecting everyone to come in, as here's our Pulse Poppers instant replay. Chris Cinnamon, lap trap. That's actually going to be Abbott. 3 wide contact and just throws the 61 in. Hello, wall. Oh, and it blows up his engine as well.
Hello, wall.
It is completely.
It's been a long time. I can't help but sing that song when you say that.
Oh man. Well, luckily.
Wow, what a change. That just breaks my heart for Gregory. You know, he had that trouble earlier and was able to drive around it and was in contention in this race, and it's just been that kind of season for him.
I mean, luckily for Gregory, he does have the win at Kentucky, so his season isn't over. But certainly, he wasn't hoping for that to be the way that his race ended. As now everyone going to be coming into pit road expected here. One driver, though, that could think about staying out, but I think that's just to take a wave around. It's going to be Cody Knott, as drivers are coming into pit road. And Kevin, I'm just wondering for all these drivers that are coming in. I mean, we're starting to see a lot of our front runners being taken out now. This is one of your few last times that you're going to get repairs done. With how small the field is, we got 19 drivers on the lead lap. I would presume if you've got damage, stay in. Yes, you'd love to have that track position, but get that damage repaired. This could be one of the last times you're going to have an opportunity to do so.
Yeah, cautions breed caution, so I have to wonder if we're going to see something quick here. But you're right. If you do have damage, you just got to stay the course, get it fixed, because we see how slow the trucks are with damage. And, you know, as this race wears on, we've seen some extracurricular activity, some minor, some major, and a lot of these drivers have to get their damage fixed. But up front, I just have to go back and look at that last stint and say, what an excellent strategy for Robert Richard to parlay those tires into track position. Now he's even Steven with everybody else, running in that top 5, sitting right behind Parsons. And you have to wonder now, does he have the pace with them? He was certainly Superman when he had those tires, better than everybody else. But whatever the case may be, he's in that top 5 right now with track position. That's an outstanding play.
Robert Richards, though, also is giving me a little bit of a concern, because that could have been his last set of tires, because he's coming to pit road 5 times already here today, multiple times for getting repairs done. He had taken an extra set, and I think the 48 could be done with tires and banking on this race to stay green. Can't confirm that here just yet, but the 48 could be in a treacherous moment if we run about 10 to 15 laps, then we get another yellow. Some drivers decide to come in and finally use their final set. This thing could be tossed upside down for that of Robert Richards.
Right now, it looks like, well, we're waiting for scoring to catch up. Hunter Parsons still scored your leader. It's a little confusing because when you look at his truck, right in front of him is Cody Knott, Brandon Bullock, Dane Hagan, Devin Painter, Blake Lithian, and the 16 truck of Joey Doucette. They're all on the tail end of the lead lap. I would assume when we get the 1 to go, they'll get the wave around, and that's going to bring Hunter Parsons up front. We've had 6 different leaders so far. The driver that's led the most laps is the number 2 of Wade. He led 47 laps from around lap 11 to lap 58 or so. And, you know, when you look at this, it still seems to me that Wade has one of the fastest trucks, but there sure are a lot of guys who found some speed to join the party up here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's so much speed. And you look at laps led throughout this whole entire season, it's been the 2 that is topping the board. Then Keith Haney, after last week's running, that helped him boost his stats on laps led. As all the lap drivers that have taken the wave around, they're going to be back on the lead lap, but they're going to be all the way at the tail end of the field as drivers get stacked up. Hunter Parsons, that of Robert Richards, Ted Wade, that of also going to be Keith Haney. Also Klinghardt, the 82, going to be that of Brian Abbott, as well as Rivera, Peacock, Cantwell, and Chris Cinnamon, all the way back in 10th place for the 3. A very slow pit stop, but damage repair going to be for Chris Cinnamon, so he's got a lot of work for himself to climb up his way through. But Kevin, as we're getting ready to go green, this is it. 30 laps to go at this point, 29 when we go green. I mean, it's kind of like another stage with how these drivers are going to have to run here.
Yeah, and they have good experience at this, right? So the first lap, or the first stint at this race, was 30 laps. And I don't know if you could call it a Saturday night feature at a super speedway with this much speed, but I can imagine that If we don't have cautions, these guys are just going to run as hard as they can. That's what I would be doing. I'd hammer down, take every run, every opportunity, every gap, push all the way through and see if you can get a win. If you're in this top 10, you're not out of it.
Flagman's at the ready as we are as well up in the booth. 29 laps to go. As Barney the Flagman has the flag up, drivers are green. Your butt kicker 200 is green once more. 29 laps to go, and it's Hunter Parsons leading the charge as the field roars down into turn number 1.
Good run for Parsons as he powers out of turn number 2 to the backstretch. He's got Richards to the outside with a good run. Richards going to close into a truck length. It is Keith Haney tucking in the back as the top 2 drive away. Richards is there. He's to the back bumper. A little peak down in the bottom. He's got a good run out of turn number 4. He's going to charge for the lead here on the front straightaway. We'll have to watch.
Gotta be aggressive. I think that's the one thing that these drivers have learned through stage 1 and stage 2. If you are up front, you got the clean air you can pull away, and Hunter Parsons trying to utilize that fresh air to the best of his ability, wobbling both of our front 2 drivers, and it's gonna be that of Parsons who holds on for now, but the driver in third is gonna be the driver on my mind of who's gonna be the one to stop Ted Wade. He's finally gotten by that of Haney, and Haney, he's found himself falling a couple of positions back to 6th, but the 2, Kevin, is on the move as he is flying right now. Fastest truck on track, it's Ted Wade.
Yeah, as they get side by side as Richards, huge run into turn number 1, out of turn 2. He's going to carry that speed. He's going to go to the point for the first time, but don't look now. It is a 3-truck race as Wade is right on the back bumper of Hunter Parsons. They're 1, 2, 3 out of turn number 4.
I mean, that run through 1 and 2, just putting Wade right there on the back bumper, and Hunter Parsons got to be careful as the 2 is going to be poking in and out, trying to find any type of speed he can. And now the 2 just waiting and lingering for now, but for how long can he wait as the laps continue to tick down? Those tires as well going to be an issue for drivers to make any passes as Parsons tries to get to the outside quarter panel of Robert Richards, not able to, and his 48, he's been waiting to get up front. One of our biggest movers of those in the top 5, up 18 positions, qualified a 19th spot, went with a strategy call, and Kevin, the strategies worked. The 48 in the lead for now, trying to hold off the top contenders.
We said at the top of the show, 2 drivers have won here at Texas in the previous seasons. Dittmer, who's not here tonight, and Richards out front, and sometimes tracks just suit your style, and you got that mojo, and Richards, he wants these guys to try and drive him heavy, and Hunter Parsons, huge run with the push that Ted Wade gave him, and I'm not sure who actually led that lap.
It was close. It was almost nothing difference. 0.003 of a second goes to the 0 of that of Hunter Parsons that takes that lead. But this is now giving the opening. Ted Wade going to be to the inside for 2nd place. Or that of Richards tries to duck down low, but there's just no space. The 48 trapped on the high side. And the longer that these front 3 battle as hard as they will, I was going to be seeing Abbott and Klinghardt. They're going to be able to close in the gap and potentially even make this a 5-horse race for the lead.
You have to wonder if Richards ran a little too hard. You don't know if he would be well suited here to just set that truck up and ride in the back a little bit, let those tires cool off. If he's angered that right front, let Wade work his magic at wearing out Parsons and then sweep in a little bit later as Wade is on kill right now. You could just tell how nervous that truck is. And he tags the back of Parsons. Parsons saves it.
He saved it somehow, but I talked about it. Just one bad hit on the front stretch could get Parsons out of shape. He did it again. And now comes the opening and the fastest truck on track. It's the 3. It's your Blanchard Towing Pull Award winner, that of Chris Simmons in 6th place. He's now caught up to this lead pack.
You got to be careful there. You're Ted Wade with that tag. The 2 of them are all breathing a sigh of relief as they're going to get the race again. They should have really been piled against the outside wall of Parsons. He just kept it on. And what about the acumen of Richards? He saw that going on, just hooked the truck left, goes down underneath, no muss, no fuss, and Richards picked up the win one more time, and Parsons back on the chase.
Right back on the chase, and we're coming up to 20 laps to go. It's Richards, Parsons trying to pull away the best that they can. Side by side, going to be for 3rd place. Abbott tried his best, but Ted Wade who made the contact on the Hunter Parsons back bumper, got the 0 out of shape, and now going to be moving up to third position as our leader, that of Richards, just able to stay clean for now, but he's slowly moving up a groove or more. Kevin, I'm getting concerned for the 48. It looks like he just might not have the grip going into turn 1 like he once did, and that's giving the opening. There he is. It's Hunter Parsons to the inside.
Got to be careful that he can hold that truck down as Parsons comes up off the corner. The truck gets a little wiggle. He's right down on the grass. Richards gives him plenty of room. Parsons going to lead that lap, and that opens the door for Ted Wade one more time to enter the battle. He's back where he was before, right on the back bumper of your leader Parsons out of turn number 2.
And oh man, as this racing was going on, Klinghardt and Chris Cinnamon made a little bit of contact out of turn 4 that made the 5 lose a couple of positions. Chris Cinnamon losing the draft of our leaders for a quick moment, but Ted Wade, Richards, almost door banging in the center of 3 and 4. It's Hunter Parsons leading the charge for now, coming to 18 laps to go. And Kevin, with all this racing, the 82 of Abbott might be in the best positioning for himself as Ted Wade finally gets to the inside corner panel. This is his best opportunity to go for a pass for the lead.
It's a dead heat out of turn number 2. Wade is on the bottom. Parsons draws in, but Wade's going to have the shorter run around here as they go into turn number 3. He lets the truck drift up, then turns it down to the white line. Wade charges out of turn number 4 with authority. He's going to pick it up, and he's going to lead lap number 119.
17 laps to go, and Ted Wade, who's led the most laps here tonight, finally gets up to where he's felt the most comfortable. He dominated stage 1, should have won stage 2, but a caution in the middle of stage 2 allowed Chris Cinnamon to get back into the mix. And speaking of Chris Cinnamon, 5th place, he's just 6/10 back, but 4 drivers in front of the 3 before he can get back up to the lead. That's going to be a hard task to do. Coming out of turn number 4, 16 laps to go. It's Ted Wade. Looks comfortable, but is anyone else playing a possum? Would threaten the 2 machine, because right now, Kevin, it looks like, yes, everyone's equal distance from one another, but it doesn't look like anyone's pressuring at this time. I think the tires have finally hit that little bit of a plateau where they're just not able to get that edge anymore.
Yeah, I look back to what you said a couple of minutes ago and look at that 82 of Brian Abbott. These guys have been running hard, trying to pass each other, turning the car or the truck in hard. Abbott's just kind of riding behind these guys. I have to wonder if 10 to go, he's going to light the candle and drive by these guys, or whether or not he's run his truck a little harder than we've imagined. But yeah, look up front. Here comes Parsons one more time, peeking low on Wade. Not going to be able to do it. Tucks into his tire tracks is Richards. He's just looking for any opportunity out of third.
Trying to get any type of chance to get a win here as everyone up front. Oh boy, Richards gets loose out of 4, able to hold on and could now fall back to 4th place. Ooh, another scary spot. And speaking of scary spot, it looks like the 5 Klinghardt. He drops down our ticker and he goes down to 12th place for the 5, who had a giant scare as well. And this he's given an opportunity for Chris Cinnamon diving down low, trying to make the pass for 4th place, but Cinnamon's been struggling. He's gotten to 5th and has not been able to move forward since then, even with other drivers having slip-ups out of turn 4. Ted Wade, he's feeling comfortable. That lead grows another 10 coming across the line as the drivers are finding themselves 14 laps to go here tonight. Look it down to 13. Ted Wade feeling comfortable, 3/10 ahead of that of Hunter Parsons.
Yeah, it doesn't bode well for these guys when Wade gets out front, because he knows how to run it. And right now, his whole job is just run qualifying lap. And we know how good he is at winning poles. He looks pretty comfortable, and he's drawn out to the biggest lead we've seen in this stint with 2 truck lengths over Hunter Parsons. I have to imagine that those drivers sitting back there 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, hoping for some sort of late race caution that they could get into this mix. But right now it looks like it's going to be settled amongst this top 5.
8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. If we're going to see a yellow, it's most likely going to be from there. They're side-by-side racing back in. That is a gaggle of cars. If there is going to be a yellow, it might be back in that 10th position. But up front, they're still trying to figure out how to get up to Ted Wade, and that's going to be a big thing for these drivers, is who's going to find just that extra little bit of space for themselves. Because right now, got to say, Ted Wade, he's looking comfortable, but this is the madness I was talking about there, Kevin. This 10th place battle, it is on, it's raging, and these drivers have been making some dangerous moves that have almost brought out some yellows.
Yeah, we know that sometimes, you know, when you look deep in the pack, these guys run as hard or harder than the drivers who end up getting our podium finishes, and they're running for 12th and 13th. As you see, they're going to be 3 wide here almost.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there's the yellow.
Now.
Klinghardt gets turned.
And there's that yellow, 10 to go. And we just, you had a sense. The way they were racing, it was going to come. As here is your both bombers. This is the replay of the incident here. Coming to 10 laps to go, and Klinghardt, who'd been fading back, had worn those tires out, but finds himself being spun around by that of Adams.
And the old cliche, this changes everything. The good news for Klinghardt, as good as he's run tonight, nobody tagged him there. If he's got a set of tires, he'll be right back in the mix, albeit in the back of the stack. And good on him to just sit there and wait. But bad on Wade. I think Wade has got to be frustrated. How close has he come all year long? And now he's going to have to go have a clean pit stop. Hopefully he has a set of tires. I'm going to imagine, Sam, anybody that's got tires, they're going to go get them.
Oh, I would imagine for sure. Everyone's going to go get tires the best that they can. I mean, you look at this, you look at the field, and you look at where some of the drivers that have already gotten a win, they are not even close. We are looking to have another first-time winner this season. But with 9 laps to go, who takes tires, who doesn't? And it looks like track position more important. Chris Cinnamon in the road, and he's the only one. If everyone from 5th on back had come into pit road, I think that would have been a great move for themselves. They could have swapped that of our top 4, but instead Chris Cinnamon, he is going to be mired all the way back to that of 23rd position potentially. Take that back, actually 15th on back all came in. So 14th place could be where Chris Cinnamon comes out of pit road.
I am shocked. I really thought they were all going to go get tires. As fast as Richards had run through with tires a little bit earlier, I would have taken that bet. And to your point, maybe the leaders would have got caught out, but if I were in 5th and driven in 6th, 7th, 8th, all of those guys, they would have won this race. I'm shocked that it was only Cinnamon that went in.
Going to be Cinnamon, and then, like I said, 15th on back, where we find that of Luis Rivera, Lumpkin, Joey Doucette, as well as Lothian, Knott, Shepard, Morris. But majority of those drivers, besides Chris Cinnamon, were already damaged and really didn't have a raceable truck to go for a win, and they're going to be stuck in a precarious spot for themselves. But hey, if you're finding yourselves racing in officials and you're trying to do open setup races and you feel like you're trapped as well, well, go get yourself some setups from that of the Majors Garage. They've got themselves 60 plus iRacing car setups available. And as well, if you're feeling like you're kind of plateauing in your skill level, they've also have coaching there. Help you submit. They'll have coaches watch your videos, watch you live, give you advice on how to get a little bit faster on iRacing, climb your way through. If you go to our description on this video, you can go find your link to go get yourself some setups from Majors Garage.
I'm still toiling on woulda, coulda, shoulda.
What if's always your killer, man. I mean, we're expecting to go about 5 to go. I think it's 5, 6, yeah, 5 to go when we go green. We're still waiting on the pace truck lights to go off. They should go off this time by. I mean, Chris Cinnamon still has a great opportunity to pass all these drivers.
I could play devil's advocate and say, maybe they think there's going to be just a rash of cautions and you wouldn't be able to put those tires to use, but I sure would like to have the opportunity to try it.
I mean, I like Chris Cinnamon in the 3, going to be back in 14th position, fresh tires for himself. Also going to have Rivera and Lumpkin. The lights are expected to come out this time by to stack all these drivers up. It will put us in a 5 to go window when we go green. Kevin, I mean, when you've got fresh tires, you can practically run anywhere you want because you can carry so much more speed. That's the true advantage of fresh tires. But at the same time, you're going to be seeing drivers blocking you. How much of a threat are you kind of nervous for Chris Cinnamon that someone is going to do a late block on that 3 and could cause a wreck before he can really carve his way through this field?
I think everybody sitting there knows, especially right in front of him, that he has fresh tires. They see him give a nose, show a nose, they probably pull over. But, you know, that's the risk you take. I just, the thing that changes the strategy is he's the only one that went. If a whole bunch of them have gone, then it would have been a completely different scenario. But, the cool thing is we get to see how that works. We get to see whether or not he can make hay with that. We've seen proper NASCAR races where drivers have driven from deep within to win. I've seen Senior do that before. So this is going to be a lot of fun. But up front, let's not forget the storyline here. I think now that the tires are cooled off, I think the one who's going to be dangerous is the 48. Richards, he seems like he has a little bit of something to prove here.
And it looks like because the 5 of Klinghardt was still lingering in front of our leaders, we actually have to extend another lap of pacing. So it's going to be now even only 4 laps to go for that of Chris Cinnamon to climb his way through this field. That is got to be so frustrating for the 3 to see this happen. And now instead of giving an EOL to the 5 when we were in the 1 to go, they extend it for another. That's just those small little things where race control felt like we're just going to extend it, put the 5 back on the lead lap, which gives us another lap of pacing. And Kevin, now this just puts things even to a bigger of rush and kind of a panic, I would imagine, for that of Chris Cinnamon and others, which kind of puts me back to thinking about practice. Drivers were trying to see how they can maximize fresh tires and go as fast and as hard as they can, but they were wrecking at it too the majority of the time that they were getting that aggressive. This starting run could get dangerous if we're seeing drivers get too aggressive on this first restart.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things we need to see. We need to see the 2 launch like you did before. Rocket sled, get out and make these guys chase them down. The other thing we need to be careful with is somebody's going to spin their tires on this. As aggressive as these guys are to get every ounce of grip they can, on worn tires, I anticipate someone will spin their tires. Whether that'll hold somebody up or whether they'll pile in. The bad news is if you're behind that, you're going to wreck your race. So you really need to be conscientious. Yes, you'd like to win, but the other thing is you really need to finish. A lot of these guys have worked very hard to be in this top 5, and this restart dynamic is going to be extremely interesting.
And I know they hate when I say these words and I jinx it all the time, but we are in the window. If a yellow comes out quickly when we go green here, overtime. We do have overtime attempts if needed. As the pace car lights are out, we're going green this time by. It's Ted Wade, Hunter Parsons, Brian Abbott, as well as Stephen Thomas Richards. Also going to be seeing Pittman, Haney, Peacock, Cantwell, Adams, your top 10, ready to go racing here for the Mount Kicker 200. And just like that, it's Ted Wade taking off. Parsons drops down low. 4 laps to go. The charge is on. Chris Cinnamon back in 13th. Can he climb through the field? As up front, it's all the 2.
Mission accomplished for Wade. He really got out on these guys. Now the question is, will they have enough draft to drive up to him and not battle amongst themselves as everybody's kind of clean through turn number 2 out into the backstretch, turn 3. It's now in the hands of Hunter Parsons. Can he run down Wade as they come back to the stripe?
3 laps to go. Update on Chris Cinnamon. He's been able to move up 4 spots up to the top 10, and he is 1.9 seconds back from our leader. Still a lot of work to go for Chris Cinnamon here with 3 laps to go. But Hunter Parsons, Abbott, waiting to see what they can do. And for the 82, he's got to be feeling frustrated with the fact that he's seeing Robert Richards pressuring on the inside. That means they cannot get going, but going to be seeing that as Stephen Thomas back into the top 5. Haven't seen him there in a while as that of Keith Haney drops back. Coming to 2 to go for that of Ted Wade.
You could just visibly see how much faster Cinnamon is than the rest of these trucks as he's made his way to the 8th position. The question is, he needs a yellow at this point. He's going to duck down underneath pits. He'll make short work of that, pick up another position to turn 2. And you see Haney is going to drop down in front of him out front. Wade continues to lead, and Parsons is not closing as Cinnamon goes underneath Thomas. He's almost to the top 5 here. He would just love to see a yellow as white flag is out.
White flag in the air. It's 1 to go here at Texas We did not need overtime, and Hunter Parsons diving it down low, not close enough in the entry of turn 2, and on the exit with a 0, he gets a great run. Joey Doucette hits the hard wall coming at turn 2, but it's Ted Wade who's been searching and lurking and has been missing out on the win so many times this season. But at turn number 4, your butt kicker 200 goes to the 2 of Ted Wade.
Yep, that launch on that start was the difference, and just an incredible way to win this for Ted Wade. He just had the right game plan.
And drivers are livid coming out of turn number 4. There were a lot of drivers from that 5th on back just getting on top of one another. Some were getting loose out of 4, trying to grab anything that they could. But the driver that felt the most success, like you noted on there, Kevin, the restart was the key for the 2. Had a big enough gap lead. Once he got up front, had that gap. I mean, it really was. They needed a yellow if they wanted a chance to stop Ted Wade. The yellow never came. And for the 2, he finally can say for season 4, he is a winner here for the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series.
Writing his signature on the front straight away, and it's been a long time coming. As many good runs as he's had this season, no surprise to see him score a victory here. Now, the question is, will he rack off a bunch in a row?
That is the key, and there were, some drivers didn't show up here today. You think of that of Keith Bradley, Tyler Dittmer. They weren't here. Also, Brady LaBeouf didn't have a strong run. A couple of other drivers that also were caught up with late incidences, but it was all the 2 here tonight as we take a look at our unofficial results. Ted Wade certainly put on a show. Going to be getting the win here tonight. Hunter Parsons in the 05. With that of Brian Abbott in the 82. Robert Richards going to come away with 4th. With that of Blake Lothian comes away 5th. Chris Cinnamon going to get only up to 6th place, but a great charge on those fresh 4 tires. With that also Keith Haney, Steve Thomas, Justin Pitts, and as well that of Jose Luis Rivera taking up your top 10.
11th place finish tonight for Taylor Peacock. Kind of a quiet night for the 81. The 63 of Adam Cantwell, good run for a top 12. Cody Knott finishes 13th. In the 26, it's Dana Shepard in 14th. In the 43, Logan Quinn in the 44 finishes 15th. 16th finishing position for Justin Lumpkin in the 87. 17th, Joey Doucette, one of the drivers that's having some extracurricular conversation for that finish. In the 18th position is the 47 of James Morris. Raul Meza comes home in 19th, and rounding out your top 20 is Ed Osborne in the number 42.
The drivers that might be thinking that I might have jinxed them tonight. You got that of Wigington, for that of 00, finishing in 21st position, with also that of Devin Painter, Jacob Klinghardt, that of Zach Adams, Matt Rutter, and finishing out your top 26 is going to be that of Brandon Bullock, with that of Dan Hagan, Stephen Gregory, as well as that of Christopher Blanchard and Jeffrey Sickles, finishing out your top 30, with that of Zach Hartwick, Eric Zimmerman, Curtis Hennett, as well as that of Brady LaBeouf, going to be your 34 drivers that took the green here tonight, as TJ Moore did not take the green. That's your unofficial results, and for us up in the booth, we're going to step aside for a quick moment. When we come back, it's the post-race show. We're going to be talking to our top 3. Ted Wade, your winner, with as well Hunter Parsons and Brian Abbott. We'll be back in just a few here on LSRTV. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the post-race show for the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series Season 4, race number 9, as the drivers just got done tackling Texas for the Butt Kicker 200. As we're here at the post-race show, we're going to start things off with third-place runner. We got that of Brian Abbott up at the booth for the 82. And Brian, what a run for yourself. Third-place finish. Oh, it seemed like there were a couple of moments where it got real sketchy for yourself. How was it, though, driving and finishing in third place for yourself?
Oh, man, it was nerve-wracking. What a great run for me, man. It was tough.
Yeah, Brian, you have an average finish of like 12th or so. This is going to improve on that. Your truck looked like it was juking and jiving out there all night long. You had a handful, did you not?
It was a handful, man. I barely couldn't even keep it in control at times.
I mean, I gotta say, it was so much fun watching you driving. We've seen you be patient and carving through this field. When you were, finding yourself on that last restart, what was going through your mind trying to set up to potentially go for a win?
Man, just be patient and run the same line and just take it easy, because I know the tires were about half done.
Well, I gotta say, Ryan, a great run for yourself. Before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yes, I want to thank the guys at NASRA hosting this great league. I want to thank the guys at over at the top, especially John Hendricks. I want to give a big thanks to my brother, Keith Haney, and my dad, Frank James Haney.
That's going to be Brian Abbott, going to come away with a third-place finish here tonight for that 82 machine. Congratulations on that, and good luck going into next week's race.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
As now we move over to second place, Hunter Parsons, who almost came away with the win here tonight with a late charge, but just was not close enough. Hunter, you had 4 laps, almost had 5 laps to try to go after Ted there. What was going through your mind on that last restart?
Yeah, that last restart, the only thing going through my head was to get a good restart. If I couldn't have done that, it would have been game over, and that's just exactly what happened.
Yeah, Hunter, take us to that moment where you got tagged and, there was not too long ago, you were sliding sideways through the grass almost over there. How did you recompose yourself and come back and try and tackle that down for the win?
Honestly, it was just a lot of hoping, praying. I run a lot of dirt racing, so I kind of used to go through the grass or sliding, so I kind of have a good feel of the wheel, but it was definitely just a lot of luck, because that wall does come up pretty quick going into one. So yeah, just to be able to survive it was good enough.
Yeah, Hunter, you've missed a couple of races this season, so it's put you further back in the points. But with this race, it's going to get you a lot closer to making it into our top 16 for the playoffs. We're past halfway in the regular season. How are you feeling like you can try to set up these next couple of races? We got Talladega, Nashville Fairgrounds, and also Indianapolis Motor Speedway coming up.
Yeah, I missed a couple weeks for vacation, so that did set me back a little bit, but overall, in some of the races that I've finished or been able to finish without being wrecked out, I've shown some speed, so I think I can hopefully get it done to be up there at the end, or even pull off a win to hopefully lock in.
And that's the easiest way to get it done. Well, Hunter, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, first off, Brady and everyone at NASRA putting this together, Triple M, the series title sponsor, Straight Cash Money, and just for everyone who has a hand in putting this on for us to race on a Friday night.
That's going to be Hunter.
Ted to win.
Sorry for cutting you off there, Hunter. That's going to be Hunter Parsons in the 05, coming away with a second-place finish here tonight, and good luck going into next week. As now we go to our butt kicker, Victory Lane, where we've got a driver that has come up second so many times this season, but no more. Ted Wade in the 2, finally can say he's a winner for Season 4. Ted, you finally get that monkey off your back. How are you feeling getting the win here at Texas?
Oh, I'm feeling great, man. I just couldn't believe there towards the end of the race. I didn't want that yellow to come out. I know I was pulling away from Hunter, and that restart was going to change the game tremendously.
Well, third at Watkins Glen, second at Dover, second at iRacing, runner-up, no more. How about that win tonight? How's it feel to finally lock this down after just, being so close all season long?
Oh, man, it's great. I've been right there so many times. I know Kentucky was one I really let go. Fuel strategy, I let a lot of laps and come up short there at the end. And I just really, really happy and excited to get this out of the way, man.
Well, now you got the win. You can kind of feel a little bit more secure going into the rest of this season. I kind of just ran down those next couple of races: Talladega, Nashville Fairgrounds, as well as going to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. How are you feeling about those next 3 races coming up?
Talladega is always a gamble, so we haven't had too much luck with the super speedways. Besides iRacing Super Speedway, that was kind of a luck of the draw on that one. But I feel pretty good finishing out the year. I'm hoping that we can maybe snag us another win.
And that is always going to be a good thing to go after. Well, Ted, congratulations on this win. And any shout outs before we let you go?
Oh, yeah. I'd just like to thank Overtop the Designs, Triple M Pooling, Racer Apparel, Bruzy Racewear, Upfront Motorsports, everybody over at NASRA. It's been a fun year, man. It's been interesting. Had a good car count all year. Makes it exciting. Definitely you guys over at LSRTV. These broadcasts are always awesome, and I enjoy watching them after the race.
That's going to be the number 2 machine of Ted Wade. It's a good night to come to victory lane because the Butt Kicker 200 winner is Ted Wade as we leave the Butt Kicker victory lane. Congratulations, Ted, and good luck in these upcoming races.
Thanks, guys. Look forward to seeing you again.
Well, Kevin, it's been a wild night. One of the cleanest races we've had all season long, and it came down to a 4-lap shootout at the end where Ted Wade was able to hold off that of Hunter Parsons and Brian Abbott there to come away with the victory and finally could say he's no longer the bridesmaid this season. He is now a winner for season 4.
I just love the parity in this league and how good all those drivers are. The depth of the talent all the way back even to the top 10, top 12. At any given night, anybody can win, and we have not seen anybody win race after race after race. We have another new winner here tonight, and I look forward to maybe having another one next week as this season marches on. This has been spectacular racing, and it just only gets better.
It was an incredible 135 laps here tonight, and it was spectacular. Kevin, we're now going to go super speedway racing once more. We were at iRacing Super Speedway. We're going to Talladega. What are you expecting going into next week?
Another new winner. That's the neat thing about Talladega is the parity that it brings. We've said this from day one, Sam. The diversity in the tracks that they've chosen to execute in this season bring different skill sets, and I just think we could potentially see somebody else emerge that is a super speedway ace, and I'm looking forward to it. We'll be here next Friday night.
Next Friday night, Talladega. It's going to be a good one as these drivers are excited to see who could get another win for themselves, who's going to be finding themselves in a victory lane as the laps and the tracks continue to tick down before the playoff action right around the corner. As these drivers get cleaned up, they're going to bed here tonight. Well, for us, we're done as well. Thank you, Kevin, once again for joining me. My name is Sam Dyer, as well as LSRTV Studios behind our next event. It's going to be a big one. It is going to be the Super Late Models Sunday night. It's going to be a blast to watch as all those drivers coming in for the Super Late Models Invitational Race. $500 on the line at that of North Wilkesboro. We'll see you Sunday night, and if you're not there, we'll see you next week. Talladega for that of the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series. We'll see